is regarding the Union Minister MJ Akbar, who's now filed a defamation case. He has sued one of the accusers. The defamation case has been filed against Priya Ramani in the Delhi court. These are breaking inputs that are coming in a further development. Of course, he has refused to resign. He has refused to step down, calling all of these allegations fabricated, politically motivated as well, in view of the 2019 elections. That has been his defense so far. And as he had indicated that he would be taking legal action. Remember, there are a total of 14 women so far who have spoken out against him, accusing him of sexual assault or harassment. He has filed a defamation case against one of the accusers there. The first in this, of course, being Priya Ramani. Let's get in further inputs. We have with us our correspondent Tanima with these details here. Tanima, please go ahead.
That's right. We have the exclusive copy of the affidavit which has been filed by MJ Akbar in this case seeking defamation against Priya Ramani. Remember, Priya Ramani is one of the first journalists who had named MJ Akbar for sexual harassment. In fact, the article that she talks about, and MJ Akbar also refers to it in his affidavit, had in fact been filed a year back, but it's only now, after the Me Too movement took off in India, that Priya Ramani went on to name that the person, the editor that she was talking about in that article was actually MJ Akbar. Let me just take you across to the exclusive affidavit that we have accessed, that my colleague Meenakshi has accessed. You can see over here that these are relevant portions of the affidavit in which MJ Akbar talks about the exact nature of the reason why he feels there's defamation. He says that the accused herself in this case, while putting forward the aforementioned defamatory statements relating to incidents which allegedly occurred 20 years ago, simultaneously admits that the complainant has not done anything to her. It's pertinent to mention that the conduct of the accused person of not taking any action before any authority. He of course goes on to say that these are defamatory articles which have been circulating against him. So, and he also goes on to say that through electronic and print media, these articles have made their way on several publications, both in television as well as reported in television, as well as published on print as well as online. So these are some of the relevant portions of the affidavit that MJ Akbar has in fact filed against Priya Ramani, one of the 14 women who have who had
Tanima, stay on with us. Let's also get in that input. We have with us our Deputy News Editor Meenakshi Bhanja as well with those details there. Meenakshi, if you could further highlight here on what has been stated in this first defamation notice now that has been sent here by MJ Akbar to Priya Ramani.
Well, that document is of great import. This is a 41-page defamation suit that Tanima has been referring to. But adding to that, essentially, MJ Akbar is again highlighting the scandalous nature of the allegations, as we call it, from para 13 of that 41-page document. He goes on to say that the scandalous allegations levied by the accused in this particular case, Priya Ramani, against the complainant in this case, MJ Akbar, by their very tone and tenor, are ex-facie defamatory and have not only damaged the goodwill and the reputation of MJ Akbar in his social circles and on the political stage, established after years of toil and hard work, but have also affected the personal reputation of MJ Akbar in the community, friends, family, colleagues, thereby causing him irreparable loss and tremendous distress. Then he goes on to add as to how Priya Ramani, by way of such publications, has caused great humiliation to MJ Akbar and his reputation, and has been severely tarnished in the eyes of public as well as his family, friends, colleagues, political fraternity and associates. The defamatory statements of Priya Ramani, it goes on to add, have thereby irreparably damaged the reputation and standing of MJ Akbar. So why Priya Ramani is very important, because she was the first person who put out his name in the public domain. There were several insinuations that were being made in this entire
absolutely. Meenakshi, please stay on with us. Stay on with us, please, because we're going to be getting in further inputs on what he's expecting in filing this defamation here. Stay with us, because we're also getting in reactions of well-known activists. We have Adwaita Kala, author and activist, with us on the phone line. Adwaita, thanks for being with us. Your first reaction on this counter allegation now in the form of a defamation in this case?
The way it works is this is a democracy. There is the rule of the law, land, and there is the law that we all follow in letter and spirit. And an accused does have rights. He's exercised that right. However, it will be perceived, and in some good measure, because there are so many complainants, these are aggregated complaints, 14 at last count, that this is a way of silencing people as well. And
Yes.
I think that message will go out as well, and we cannot avoid that. Having said that, he is well within his rights to challenge this, because these accusations took place, or these alleged incidents took place prior to him joining the BJP or being a minister in the present government. So they do fall into his personal realm of operation. And, that's how it will need to be handled, really, going forward.
That's right. Adwaita, irrespective of when the alleged case took place, whether or not he was an independent journalist or had joined the Congress or is now with the BJP, irrespective of that, really. But do you think this is the easiest way now to silence a movement which is picking momentum in the country?
Well, I don't think it's going to silence it. And this is why Me Too is so different. Because for the longest time, the Whisper Network has existed. We've all known about it, especially women who have worked know about this. It has been weaponized with this movement, and it's really something that once you pull it out, like they say, when you pull the sword out of the kaman in Hindi, once it's out, it's out. I don't think it's going to silence anybody at all. I think that this will, of course, follow the legal path as he intends, but I really don't think it's going to silence anybody. And I think that if that is the intention behind it, and it very well may be, it's not going to work.
Right. Adwaita, this is the first, of course, that we're seeing the government, of course, standing strongly by MJ Akbar. He's not been asked to step down or resign. He's also stated these are entirely fabricated. He's also tried to politicize this, saying that these are motivated in the build-up to the 2019 elections here. But we're also looking at the fallout of the Me Too movement for women who have spoken out. Should this not just be reduced to something that you speak out on a moment, on an episode of trauma that you suffered, and then you suffer from a defamation as well?
Absolutely. I mean, this is the sad truth is, and really this is the sad truth. I mean, as much as we are set on default to, believe women because we know these things happen and they happen rampantly, and especially in cases where it's multiple accusations, not one but 14, obviously it's quite clear where our sympathies lie. Unfortunately, or rather it is the way of the land that the other person has a right as well. And this is invariably confrontationist. There is no way around it. There is going to be backfire. There is going to be blowback. And that is the reason why this is called a courageous decision. That is the reason why women may wait 10 years, 5 years, 20 years to come out into the open for these very reasons. So we're seeing this play out for us. But the thing is, the strength really comes in the fact that there are so many other testimonies that corroborate a certain kind of behavior. Because remember, these actions take place in privacy, they take place without witnesses, and it's very difficult for women to prove that these incidents actually happen. And the only way to prove it is with corroborated evidence and testimonies, and that is the case in this case.
And that being difficult, if it needs to be investigated and hold forth there through court as well. Stay with us, please, Adwaita. Getting in further inputs from our Deputy News Editor, Meenakshi Banja, on details of that defamation suit here that has been filed. Meenakshi, what else does it state? Does it ask for an apology or a fine to be filled? What next?
Well, Sahir, at the outset, it is a classic defamation suit which has been filed by one of the top law firms of India. This is Karanjawala law firm. Mr. Akbar is being represented by Sandeep Kapoor. He is one of the associate partners in Karanjawala and company. Now, essentially, why Priya Ramani? Because she was the first person who went on to name MJ Akbar. And subsequent to that, we had multiple accounts coming out. Our viewers will recall that although there were several insinuations pertaining to one powerful editor who is occupying a top position in echelons of power, nobody had named MJ Akbar before Priya Ramani. So she did put his name out in public domain, and that is what he is drawing upon. He's saying in his defamation suit as to how he received several calls from colleagues, from friends, from family members who highlighted the various publications and the fact that his name was being dragged into, as he calls it, into these controversies. And why he is attracting criminal defamation here is because he's making an argument as to how, in spite of there not being any verifiable in law evidences, his name got sullied, and this has caused irreparable damage to his reputation and his standing, not just within his family and friends, but also the larger fraternity. And therefore, he is making out a case for criminal defamation against Priya Ramani.
All right, Meenakshi, many thanks for getting us those inputs. Of course, many saying that he's well within his legal rights here to be filing a defamation suit, given that he's already stated that these charges, these allegations against him are fabricated. But it's also a question of further victimizing an alleged victim of sexual harassment there. That could be debated further on this here as well in the name of this defamation. We slip